looking to become a 3-division world champion.
And I think that makes me, instant Hall of Famer.
He's coming back. Danny Swift Garcia.
Once he feels how strong I am, he might try to go back to his old ways.
Well, Danny, welcome back. And I guess the first question is, last couple of years, where has Danny Garcia been?
Danny Garcia has been raising 2 new children. I've been in the gym. I started my own boxing promotion. Like I said, I had 2 more kids. I had a girl, and then I had a boy. I always wanted a boy. And I wasn't off for 2 years because I wanted to. I was off 2 years because, sometimes you got to wait your opportunity, your turn. And I knew sooner or later I'll be sitting right here.
I just feel blessed to be back. I love boxing like a fat kid loves cake. So that's why I'm here, man.
You said at the New York press conference that you love boxing like a fat kid loves cake. How hard was it for you to be away from the game this long?
It's tough, especially when you love something. I came off like a good victory against Benavidez. I felt sharp. I felt like myself again. I felt like I could conquer the world. So when I kind of lost like 2 years of my career, that's the only thing that bothered me a little bit. It was like, I lost 2 years, my prime. But I still feel good. I took care of myself. Like I said, I didn't really do nothing but, I was in the gym, help mentoring young kids. So my head was always in the game. And I think that's why it was easy for me to transition back into being a fighter.
And even before that Benavidez fight, it was a long break since the Spence fight. How much of that was your choice? How much of that was, things happen in boxing where stuff falls out?
No, the Spence, that was my choice. That was definitely my choice. I remember 2020, I was going through a lot of anxiety and depression. I don't know what it was. I think maybe it was the COVID. Everything seemed so dark. I remember when I looked at the ring card girl, and it said 3. It felt like it was 10 for him because my mind was so tired, just from overthinking. And I just felt like I needed a break from boxing. That was just from all the years of boxing, just not that fight. I felt like it just caught up to me, and I just needed a break.
After the win over Benavidez, you spoke pretty openly about your battles with mental health. I mean, how are those battles going for you today?
I feel like I said, I started boxing at 10 years old, and it was always a lot of pressure on me to to change everything for my family. So I just feel like all the fighting and all the pressure over the years, it kind of just caught up to me a little bit. You try to stay strong, but it's only so long you can stay strong before you crack. So I feel like I was actually going through the anxiety and depression from 2016 to 2020. In 2017, I actually developed something called alopecia, where it's when you stress too much, you get bald spots. And that's when I realized I gotta change my mindset. I'm not trying to lose my hair. But that was that was the first time I realized that I was going through that when I got the bald spot.
And the last 2 years have been considerably better, you would say?
Yeah, definitely a lot better. I just learned how to change my mindset. Just take it one day at a time. I'm an overthinker. That's my problem. I'm like a perfectionist. So when I feel like things ain't going right, I kind of want it to be right on the moment. Or it's I try to help everyone and save everyone. And I feel like, I learned you can't save the world, So gotta kind of just go with the flow.
Your father, Angel, with you through your entire career. We saw him again at the press conference. What has he meant to you kind of as you've gone through all this stuff?
Oh, he's always been there for me from the very beginning. So, he's always been my mentor and my role model is my pop. Some days I'll just be driving home from the gym and I just start crying for no reason. He's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I just feel emotional for no reason. And he was just try to, change your mindset. And he thought I would get over it for the Spence fight, and I just couldn't get over it. And for me, I proved a lot to myself in that fight because I fought 12 rounds with one of the best fighters in the world without even, my brain not clear. And I was just thinking if my brain was clear, no one could stop me. And that's why I couldn't wait to come back and fight Benavidez after I took the break, because I knew my mind was back and I can compete at the highest level again.
How excited is your father to have you back now?
He's more excited than me. My dad loves boxing more than me. I think he's gonna when this is all said and done, he's the one that's gonna have a hard time, realizing I'm not a fighter no more, because to him I will always be a little kid. You know what I mean? I'm a grown man, but he still looks at me like a little kid. Hey, don't play basketball. You're gonna twist your ankle. You're not gonna be able to fight. I'm like, Pops, I'm 36 years old. I'm almost as old as you now. You gotta let me have fun, So I think that's the thing. He's always gonna look at me like a kid. He's always gonna want what's best for me.
Yeah, your father once took me on a trip through Philly. I'll never forget all those years ago, driving down some of those streets. He's a character, that's for sure.
Definitely, for sure.
You're coming back, and there were certainly opportunities at 147. There are belts available at 154. Why Lara? Why the decision to chase a middleweight title?
The reason in 2022 when I fought Benavidez, I said, look, who can I fight, PBC? Who can I fight in PBC that I can just go fight for a title and it makes sense? And at that point, I think Charlo was unified, I believe, at that time, and he was scheduled to fight someone else. So I knew that I couldn't fight him. I said, look, who can I fight? Like, I saw Lara. I'm like, there's nobody in the middleweight division at this point. There's no one in that division that anyone knows. Maybe I could take a shot and call him out, and I could get a shot at Lara, like a catchweight or something. Because I never fought at middleweight, so I'm not a middleweight, I'm really, a welterweight, 140-pounder, but, I'm trying to do what Cotto did. I'm trying to do what Duran did. I'm trying to do what all the great fighters did, because I believe I'm cut from that cloth, and I want to be a 3-division world champion. And Lara was available. He said, yeah, and I waited 2 years for it, and I'm finally here, trying to make history.
You had that one fight at 154. How did you feel with the extra pounds on you against Benavidez?
I felt great. For me, like, moving up in weight is not really about like me losing the weight. It's about me just feeling good. I can still make 147, but I don't feel good at that weight anymore. Like, I don't feel strong, I don't feel sharp, I don't feel crispy. So my plan for moving up was just so I can feel better, I can feel good, I can feel myself. I always walked around 170 pounds, 175 pounds my whole career, even at 140, 147, so I'm a naturally bigger guy. Like, I call myself a little big guy. I'm like a little big guy that's strong. So I feel like the 150s is like my weight, my natural weight.
You've been a PBC stablemate of Lara for some time now. When was the first time you kind of thought about, hey, maybe we could cross paths and we could fight?
I was on the phone with Al, and I was like, who can I fight for a title, He was like, there's some guy, there's Lara, there's this. And I said, hey, I like the Lara fight. Let's go get Lara. He's a 2-time champion like me, and and I feel like he's been around, I've been around, and it makes sense.
10 years ago, Lara was more of the slick boxer with the Cuban style. In recent years, he's become more of a banger, been willing to stand in the pocket. Is that kind of the fight you're expecting from him on the 14th?
I feel like once he feels how strong I am, he might try to go back to his old ways. But you never know. I'm expecting the best Lara. I'm expecting that Lara. Because people say, Danny Garcia struggles with boxers, people who move. But I feel like he struggles with people with my style too. Castano, Canelo, Jerry Hurd was coming forward. I'm that type of fighter. I come forward, but I could box too. So, my last fight I was boxing. So maybe I can outbox the boxer or I got bang the banger. We just don't know. We just got to go in there and see what happens and make adjustments.
There's potentially another reason to fight Lara and get this title is that, Terrence Crawford's out there after that last win, and I can see you kind of start to smile a little bit it's got to be.
No, because a lot of people have been talking about it.
Yeah,
things just come, it just makes sense right away.
I mean, things move fast in boxing, right? Like Canelo was the guy who's going to fight today, and then maybe not so much. And now,
like a week ago, people weren't even thinking about me fighting him.
Here you
so
are.
I'm fighting Lara for the middleweight title. He would try to go for his 5th. I'll try to. So yeah, it makes sense. We fought 2 times in the amateurs. So we got a history. But I got Lara in front of me, and it's not an easy fight. But that is a fight that actually makes a lot of sense. I just got to get past this fight first.
What do you remember about those amateur fights with Crawford?
I remember the first time I fought Terrence Crawford, it was in the U.S. Championships, and I looked at the bracket, and I said, I'm fighting somebody from Omaha, Nebraska. This can't be hard, No disrespect from anybody from Omaha, but he became who he is. He really earned it. I watched him, like, from all the years, like, even as a kid. I actually fought his friend at 95 pounds in the silver gloves. And I remember his friend beat me, and I was like throwing chairs in the silver gloves. And Terrence Crawford actually came up to me. He was like, why are you so angry? And I remember he was like 85 pounds, so I actually saw his whole entire journey. And one thing I can say, he really earned it. And then the first time I beat him, the second time he beat me. He was ready for me the second time.
I think a lot of people remember the young Danny Garcia, the guy, with that quick left hook, the power, the great fight with Lucas Matisse all those years ago. At 36, is that fighter still inside you?
Definitely. I still love boxing. I'm still passionate, and that's why I'm here. Am I as hungry as I used to be? Of course not. You know, when I was fighting Amir Khan, I was broke. My only thing was to turn that into a street fight. I knew he was a great boxer, but I knew he wasn't as hungry as me. And as the years went on, I just, you know, the passion is still there, and that's the most important thing. Is like, you know, I say this all the time. Like Warren Buffett does stocks. Why? He has how much? $100 billion, but he's still doing stocks because he has a passion for it. And me, I just love fighting, and that's my purpose. And I'm gonna try to fight at this level as much as I can, and until I lose this step, then I say, you know what? Let me just focus on my family. But for now, I'm here. I'm fighting for the middleweight championship of the world, and I'm blessed. I'm happy.
So it kind of leads to my next question. Do you look at this as the start of something new in your career, a new chapter in your career?
Definitely. I win this fight, you know, I'll be the middleweight champion of the world. I'll be a 3-division world champion. I feel like that puts me in another class. I don't think no fighter from Philadelphia has ever won 3 divisions. So I would be the first Puerto Rican champion from Philly, and then I'll be the first 3-division world champion from Philly. And I think that makes me, you know, instant Hall of Famer.
You're also a promoter from Philly now. How has the promotional experience been?
The promotional experience is fun. I'd rather fight. I'd rather just go in there and get my check, go home, deposit it on Monday. But, you know, it's the most thing I enjoy about the promotion is giving back to the young guys because they look at me like an idol. You know, they watched me growing up. And I never had that. I never got to train with a world champion. I never got to meet anybody who was successful until I became successful. And I feel like when you talking to somebody successful, it's different than somebody who never did it. And that's what I can provide for these young guys is, you know, I actually lived it. And I can walk you through a fight. I can know how you feel in the fight when you tell me how you feel. And just making those guys feel like they have hope, that means a lot to me.
And you said you look at Oscar De La Hoya as almost a model for this.
Absolutely.
You were part of Oscar's stable
Absolutely.
years ago. And look, Oscar used his fighting career to help push his promotional career. Is that kind of part of what you're looking to do?
I would love to promote my own fight one day. You know, I don't know how that would go, but I would love to try.
A lot of talking.
Yeah. But, you know, right now I'm with Al, I'm with PBC, so that's my family. I've always been loyal to them. But if we could find out one way, you know, maybe like my last fight or something, like a farewell fight, I could do like my own promotion in Philly, like at the Lincoln Financial Field or something like that. That would be cool.
Danny, good luck on the 14th.
Thank you. I appreciate it.